Well, the Houston Astros fall victim to their own bats. That's right. Silent once again. Framber with a quality start and an offense that is consistently inconsistent. Let's talk about it right now.
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He's Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast. We thank you for all the people that make us everydayers, or that become everydayers, that make us their everyday listen, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I thank you for everybody helping us reach 15,000 subscribers. Now we're trying to get to 16,000 subscribers, on our way to 20,000 subscribers. So thank you to everybody that listens to us every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Well, the Astros, like you said, they're very inconsistent. It's like feast or famine. On Saturday, they scored 11 runs. Today, they scored, 2 runs? And it's just, that's what the Astros offense has been recently. You thought at the trade deadline they addressed this, but apparently not. And Framber Valdez, he pitched a better game until the 6th inning when the Astros eventually tied the game, but unfortunately he gave up 3 runs in that inning. Overall, it was a much better start. Yainer Diaz caught him today. I wonder if there's anything to read into that. And we'll go ahead and look ahead a little bit to the Blue Jays, because 18 games left, Brett. There's not a lot of time left, and the Mariners, they kicked some tail today. They won 18-2. So you've got to hold them off, because they're now 2.5 games behind the Houston Astros.
Yeah, it is a tight race. And, we knew at some point there was going to be someone in the division that would make the race close. I just didn't anticipate it being the Astros being the ones that made it close, right? The Astros really had a chance at the, after that Dodgers sweep, to really continue to solidify their place. And since the All-Star break, have been terrible. They've been under 500. They've got a negative run differential. And there's not just one aspect of this team to blame. I mean, yes, you can blame injuries. You can blame, this or that. But the bottom line is, these guys are veterans. And I was talking about this yesterday with somebody at work, and they said, I expect this kind of output from time to time from a team that hasn't been there. But a veteran team like Correa, like Altuve, like Walker, like, these guys, I mean, even Jerry Pena now, they're veterans. They know what to do. They know what approach to take. Every once in a while, or maybe more than every once in a while, a major league pitcher is going to have a day like Patrick Corbin did today. But so did Framber Valdez. The difference was Patrick Corbin's team backed him up with a few more runs than the Astros did. This lineup, I don't know what the answer is. You just have to hope that when the time is right, that they get on the right foot. But I'll say this before I bring you back in the conversation. The Astros still have the highest percent chance of making the playoffs, according to Fangraphs, 89.3%. They actually have a 5.5% chance of winning the World Series. And I know y'all are thinking I'm crazy, but that's the 4th highest total in the American League. Now, the Mariners, what's odd is they have a 6.6% chance of winning the World Series. So, am I saying the Astros are a shoo-in? No. But do I think they're going to miss the playoffs? I also say no.
Well, they have a negative run differential since that Dodger series you keep on mentioning. And they also have a losing record since that time. So the Astros have been basically treading water. And what's frustrating is the offense. The fact that yesterday they faced Jacob deGrom. This is a guy that the league has not really figured out this year. But in that game, they got 3 runs off of him in 5 1/3 innings. He has a 2.78 ERA on the season, but the Astros got to him and the rest of the bullpen. Yes, they got 3 runs off Milner. Then they got 5 runs off Bolshe. But then they got 11 runs overall in the whole game. And off of 15 hits and 8 earned runs. I know the Astros did strike out 12 times. That would be a little bit of a red flag in that game where they did score 11 runs. But you have to kind of look at what's going on with this offense. And it seems like when they have a good run scoring output, the next day they just either get shut out or they don't really put up much of a fight. And it felt like in this game until, what was it, the 6th inning where they actually tied the game. Mauricio Dubon had a double. Then I think Jeremiah had that single. They're basically getting no hits today by Corbin. What is this?
Corbin Burns.
Yeah, Corbin Burns. And it was just frustrating because this is a team that Patrick Corbin, not Corbin Burns.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patrick. You know what? I mix up those two all the time.
No,
Patrick
Corbin Burns is a good pitcher. Patrick Corbin is not such a good pitcher. And so that's what's kind of frustrating about him is I guess on the season he's got a 4.36 ERA, so he's not having a terrible season. But when you think of this is somebody that the Diamondbacks did not want all these years, he had a high 5 and 6 ERA, but for some reason he had the Astros number today. He was no hitting them for basically until the 6th inning, and it's just frustrating how you can get to a guy like DeGrom, but then struggle against Corbin, and it's just the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of this team. It's just frustrating.
Right. Eric, and that's the thing. You hate having to go back to, well, that's just baseball. Because there are aspects of the game that no matter who is on the scorecard, no matter who's in the lineup, things don't have to go the way that the scorecard says, right? But far too many times this season, we know what this team is capable of, but we know what the reality is. And Mike Stanton's talked to me about this quite a bit, about roster construction. I mean, look, you can have talented guys, but you could have a roster and a team constructed in a way that it just, for whatever reason, doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's told me about guys that he would get traded to a team and they would have a career hitter that was, he was a guaranteed, this guy would contribute and he would go through a 3-month slump and everyone's like, wait, this guy can't hit the broadside of the barn. And I'm not making excuses, but there are a lot of things, roster construction, a lot of people talking about lineup. Now, I don't know if where you hit in the lineup is as consequential as we think it is, but so my counter to everybody saying don't change the lineup is, what if they didn't change the lineup and we still got the same results? Then you would say change the lineup. I don't know that keeping the lineup the same is it. Maybe where they are on the lineup and moving Altuve down and other guys down, maybe you can do that. But until they go out there and produce on a consistent basis, this team is who they are. And you just hope that they find 2 or 3 games when it counts the most. In these next weeks, it's going to count the most.
Well, I do like the fact that Christian Walker in Saturday's game was batting 8 in that game, 7th or 8th, and so they moved him down. I think that was a matchup based decision. So sometimes they do decide to based on who they're facing. But as Chris brings up, Walker and Diaz yesterday were 4 for 10 with 5 RBIs. Today they were 1 for 7 with 1 RBI. Altuve, he continues to struggle recently. So this is an issue that the Astros have been dealing with a lot. Altuve goes through stretches where he's carrying the team, but then he goes through other stretches where he's not. And I think that has to do with his aging. And also he's just not seeing the ball right now. And he's batting 3rd right now. And I don't know if you go ahead and put him batting 5th, but at that point you're hurting the team even more. So I don't know what the answer is. Like, I think what Joe Espada is trying to do is find the right matchup. You would think, hey, they scored 11 runs with 15 hits the day before. Don't change that lineup. But I think the Astros do a lot of analytics And so that goes into it.
And that's the thing. That is a conversation that you and I and everybody else can have until we're blue in the face. And
right.
The bottom line is we don't know. We're not in the room. We don't know why they make the decisions they do. But AJ Hinch, as much as y'all love AJ Hinch because he won a World Series, he changed a lineup one season 160 times in 162 games. So when he was doing it and they won, no one complained.
Yeah. And we'll talk about what he actually said at the Bloggers Roundtable back when they did that. But thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. We're going to talk a little bit about Framber Valdez today and Hunter Brown. What did Hunter Brown tell Joe Espada? We'll talk about that next.
Well, I can't wait to hear that, and I can't wait to tell you about Zippix. Let me tell you about Zippix, our special sponsor today. Get your fix with Zippix toothpicks. Save 10% by using the code LOCKEDONMLB at zippixtoothpicks.com. You must be 21 and up. Now, look, I got my own Zippix toothpicks. These bad boys are cinnamon-flavored B12 toothpicks, okay? One of the things I like about Zippix is they actually work. And for those of you that have cravings and you deal with nicotine, they have nicotine toothpicks that satisfy your nicotine fix and they give you an energy boost. That's right. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy those cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping, available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I can tell you these caffeine toothpicks are legit. It's not magic. It's not smoke and mirrors. I absolutely like them and I do recommend them. And again, if you're dealing with the nicotine area, which I don't, these are a great alternative. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 16,000 subscribers. All it takes is for you to press that little red button down there that says subscribe and go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. So I want to say it was back in 2017 or 2016, whenever the Astros still did the Bloggers Roundtable. I was writing for Climbing Taos Hill
they
back then.
recognized bloggers back then?
Yes, we were a small enough community. We actually got to meet with the managers and the GM back then. But we're actually in a meeting with AJ Hinch, and he actually made fun of himself for doing all the different lineups. But he just said, we go off of the analytics, but we also go off of hunches. And we just feel like this guy is good against a certain pitcher. And so that's why we put him in a certain spot in the lineup. And I think that's what the Astros decided to do today with Framber Valdez. That's why they brought him to pitch against the Rangers instead of saving him and also waiting an extra day to have him pitch against the Blue Jays. So I think that there's a lot of analytics that goes in there, but there's also what's best for the player and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, I miss those days where we got to actually talk to the manager and the GM.
Well, so look, David Garcia says, I don't want to see Altuve in the 3 spot anymore. David will send it over to Joe. Wait, what did Hunter Brown say? Because
I know in the 5th inning of yesterday's game, he was already at 95 pitches, and Joe Espada was probably about to say, "Hey, kid, you're great game. You did a good job. The Astros are leading. Let's go ahead and take the rest of the night off." But he basically came in and said, "I'm going back out," and Joe Espada said, "That's it. The decision was made." I really didn't have anything else to say, and he's earned that right to make that decision. And we needed him to step up and do that because the bullpen has been used a lot recently. So the fact that Hunter Brown not only had the presence of mind to say, "Hey, I want to go ahead and go back out there. I know I need to take another inning," but the fact that he's he's not a veteran yet. He's getting close to being a veteran, but he had that presence of mind to be like, hey, I've still got it. Hey, Skip, leave me in. I've got it. I got you.
Well, right. And this is I've been cognizant of this since I was following him in the minor leagues up to AAA. And everything from the mound, from his development in AAA all the way up to the big leagues, he's not changed. He is an example of consistency. He is a guy that when he goes up on the mound and things don't go his way, he bears down, throws harder, gets mad, throws angry pitches, misses bats. Right. You absolutely love that. But according to Willard, the Astros are done. The season is over, and we just are not paying attention, Eric. We need to stop the show right now. We'll end Locked on Astros for the season because it's over. I'm joking.
Just imagine if the Mariners were actually playing good baseball for a good stretch of this. Yes, the season would have been over at this point.
Exactly. But Hunter Brown and Chris Reyes said it best. Hunter Brown's speaking like a game one starter. Right. You know, right now, Eric, if I'm Joe Espada, Hunter Brown's my game one starter, not Framber Valdez. And you know, you hope they hit some kind of magic pill, or they do something, get some bad juju, like cut up their bats, do whatever they got to do whenever they go on to their next couple series, and they actually do some damage, because they do play the Rangers again. They do play the Mariners again, but they're both here, I believe, in Houston. And so you've got your home field. You don't want to lose on your home field to your division rivals at the end of the season when it matters the most, because objects and me are closer than they appear.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted the Astros to play with more intensity, more like they wanted to win. I think the game on Friday, that was kind of a weird one anyway, but this one on Saturday, the Astros looked like they were engaged. They were totally having fun. They're out there scoring runs left and right. And I like the Greg guy from the Chronicle. He had a good quote on X. He said, the Astros offense is like, it's either like the Roaring 20s or it's like the Great Depression. And
wow, that's
a great analogy. And that's because
those are two really old references. Why? Okay.
But it's the truth, because they're either really going good or they're like can't hit the broadside of a barn.
They're either involved in illegal bootlegging of alcohol and dancing when they shouldn't be, or I'm joking, like the Newsies, right?
Yeah. But I know one thing, Brett. I didn't order this burger. And why is Burger keep on hitting home runs against us? I mean, Framber Valdez, he went out there and pitched a much better game. He went out there today, 7 innings, 4 runs earned. 4 runs allowed. 3 of them were earned because of that error earlier in the game, but much better game. He said that he went into this game with a better mental focus. He said that if anything was going to happen, I was going to let it get to me like I let it get to me in the first game. That was a big goal of him. So I believe that he recognized, maybe Joe Espada and him had a little conversation following the last game, and like, hey, if you want to be the guy that gets a lot of money, you need to do this. And I don't know if this Bob Nightingale report is true, but already one team is out on Framber Valdez in free agency because of what happened with Salazar last week.
Who is out on him?
I didn't see the team, but I just saw a report that Nightingale said.
Okay, hold up, teams. You can't count yourself out.
It's probably the Astros, be honestly.
No, it's not. No, but really, no offense. Yeah, that was a really big flub, and Framber will probably not live that down for like another season. But he is one of the most durable pitchers in this league. He doesn't get injured. He is dependable, I would say 90% of the time, right? There's a whole lot of guys out there that haven't done what Framber's done or can do. Now, can Framber put a bow on it and have a legacy that's different? That's on Framber. But teams already being out on him, That sounds a little weak sauce to me, man.
Well, who knows? But if you're going to give him $30 million a season, I think it's about
Maybe
character. And some teams may be like, yeah, we don't want that type of guy on our roster. So
I don't know,
you can
man.
imagine like a team.
There have been a lot of guys that have had character issues that people have signed, and I never heard teams. I don't know. I just think that's odd. I think that's a little. Maybe it's the Yankees. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the team I would think is the Yankees, and the Yankees probably after Garrett Cole probably are a little bit apprehensive after paying a lot of money for Astros pitchers. Even though Garrett Cole has had some good starts, but he's also had some bad starts. So, guys, we'll go and talk about some more about the Houston Astros. Where do they go from here? Where are they in standings? Thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Let me tell you about Monarch Money because they are your personal CFO. If you can't name most of your financial accounts or even know what they're worth, whether your 401k properties or investments, what they are, and if you don't know the full picture, well, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why Monarch Money is here to help you with the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings you the entire financial life together in one clean, easy to use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives like myself. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify where you aren't saving money, maximizing investments, and increasing your savings rate. That's right. So use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB and don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. Put Locked On MLB in your browser. That's 50% off your first year, monarchmoney.com with the code Locked On MLB.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. And Brett, I know the Astros didn't quite have the weekend that we wanted. Oh. At least they didn't get swept. That's one positive side of things. But unfortunately, the Mariners decided to go ahead and get hot at this moment. So now they are 2.5 games behind the Houston Astros. So, and the Astros job is getting a little bit harder because not only are they going to face the Blue Jays now, but they're also going to be facing the Rangers again, and this weekend, I believe. And so it's a tough stretch of games because the Rangers are a good team now. The Blue Jays, then it's just 18 games left. You don't have a lot of wiggle room, and you would want a bigger lead than a 2.5 game lead down the stretch. And the other teams are starting to leapfrog the Mariners as a wild card team. So it's if the Astros get passed by the Mariners or even the Rangers, you might find yourself out of the playoff picture, period.
Yeah. I mean, the Astros still have 78 wins. They're still obviously ranked in the top 3 because they lead the division, but only by 2.5 games. And, Eric, they're 4-6 in their last 10 games. A lot of teams at top are not winning a whole lot consistently. The Rangers, though, are 7-3. The Rangers are making this race very interesting, and they deserve all the credit. Why? Because their hitting has not been – I mean, they can hit, and I know they're plus 82 run differential. They just have not hit as much as they were early on. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You have to lead this division. You have to win this division. I had hoped that the Astros at some point would catch the other teams, but who knows, Eric, if they go on a 4-game win streak, 5-game win streak, which I know that's really tough. That's like getting blood out of a turnip. But with the Astros only being 4 games behind the Tigers, it's probable, but it's possible. I don't know if it's probable. So where do they focus? They've got the Blue Jays next, right? So You can't worry. Like the Blue Jays are 82-61. They are 5-5 in their last 10, and despite a red hot George Springer, they have lost their last 2 games. So they are beatable, but you have to go out and actually score some freaking runs in order to beat another team. That's all there is to it. Luckily for the Astros, they have Monday off. And then they play Tuesday in Toronto, where Luis Garcia will be on the mound, and the Blue Jays have not announced their starter. But
And the Astros have not announced the rest of the starters for the rest of the series.
Oh, okay. So it's just Luis Garcia at this point.
Yes. So the Astros just felt like giving Garcia, because he's coming back from the injury, they decided to give him the extra day of rest. A lot of people freaked out when they switched Framber and Garcia, but I think this was strategic. There's no need to press Garcia, give him the extra chance, but I think it was also so Framber Valdez doesn't have too many days in between starts, and maybe they might be looking at making sure that Valdez is available for potential game 1 or game 2 of the playoffs. So they're probably already starting to line up.
Well, but would they start lining up this early though? I mean, it's kind of early, Eric, to be doing that. I mean,
maybe. But I think it's more just to keep him on regular rest, Valdez.
Yeah, I think it's more regular. I don't think they're doing. I personally,
it's not intentional, but
no, yeah. I know. But what I'm saying is, you've got you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 6 series left. There's no way they're worrying.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're not worrying about those guys until probably September 22nd on their day off, when they have their last 2 series versus the Athletics and the Angels. But man, your last 2 home series, division rivals, 3 games versus the Rangers, the 15th through the 17th, and a weekend series, 19th through the 21st, versus Big Dumper and his 52 home runs. I mean, the dude's approaching 60 home runs, man. We need to, can we just walk him? I don't want to see him hit a home run in our stadium.
Well, the fact is that scares me is I don't remember exactly what the Astros run differential was earlier when they swept the Dodgers, but I believe it was getting close to 100, maybe around 86, 89, something around then. There, it's at plus 19 right now. Sorry, it's dropped a lot. So if you're looking at all the teams that are in the chase for the playoffs, you got the Rangers plus 82, the Mariners plus 32, the Red Sox plus 95, the Yankees 140, the Tigers 85, and the Blue Jays 65. So of all those teams, the Astros have the worst run differential at this moment. And so it's so frustrating because the pitching, for the most part, is there. And a lot of go ahead.
But here's the thing. The run differential thing, I don't think is as important, because you got the Rays at 71 and 72. They have a plus 55, Eric. So you know what I'm saying? The run differential thing isn't, I know I need to talk about it less, because I don't know that it's that important. Because if the Rays could have a plus 55 run differential and not even be in the playoff hunt, then maybe it doesn't mean that much. I mean, you could have an aggregate score of where you get outscored 28-7, but you still win 2 of those games, right? Because 15 or 16 of those runs can be scored in one game, and the next 2 games you outscore them by 1 run. So, that's why I'm glad we don't do stuff like soccer does, like an aggregate score over a series. That would be terrible. Actually, for the Astros this year, that might actually work.
Well, some injury news. I know that you talked about Spencer Arrighetti in the chat, but he is shut down for the rest of the regular season. There's no UCL damage, just some inflammation, and hopefully he might be ready for the playoffs, like you mentioned, but he might be out. Bennett Souza and also Ort, they are likely out for the rest of the season as well, but they could be ready for the playoffs as well. But everything's up in the air right now.
Yeah, so I don't believe that.
You don't believe what?
I don't believe they'll be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think if they're out, they're out. I mean, you might as well count them. This is an interesting take, and I think I agree with a little bit. Astros overachievers in the first half of the season, and the fans thought the team was great, and we were not. We were just a normal team that we're seeing the reality. Have good luck that Seattle has. Look, I think what he's saying though is true, but I think you and I have talked about this.
Mhm.
Like, this team doesn't score a lot of runs. They're not top in the league in home runs. They're not big RBI team. They're not a big home run team. I mean, their best home run hitter, their best RBI producer has been out most of the season. And you just got Jordan back. And if you would have had Jordan, maybe that's a little different. But this team is who they say is who they are. They are as advertised. They say we're built for this. Well, maybe they're the only team that's built for a run that's not probable, and to make it a longer run than what you would expect them to make, because they've done things and they've overachieved. So you know what? As long as they overachieve, I'm okay with that.
I think early in the season, the wishy-washiness of the start to the season where they're win one, lose one, win one,
Right.
and the 500 record for a long while. I think that had a lot to do with the offense just not being there, but also when the offense was there, the pitching was not there. So, but the pitching has been fairly consistent throughout the season, despite the injuries. But now you just don't have the offense consistently. They're not getting your 4 runs that the Astros need to win. And it just seems like as the playoffs near, it's just, what are they going to give you? And I don't know if it's lineup construction, but at the same time, you need guys at certain position who are hot. That way they can drive in other guys that are getting on base. So maybe once we get closer to October, Joe Espada will set on the lineup, but I guarantee it. And if they make it to the playoffs, when they make it to the playoffs, they're going to have a alternating lineup, just like you see right now. And by the way, something we have not addressed, Jake Myers did return to the lineup, and he had a heck of a catch on Saturday, running into the wall. He had a hit on Saturday. He had a hit again today. So he looks like he's ready to go, and I think this would be a big addition to the lineup.
No, definitely. Going forward, you hope that when they get to Toronto that their big bats show up. They've hit well in Toronto, and hopefully they induce a lot of ground balls, because that's a powerful offense, and the Rogers Center knows how to send a baseball out of the ballpark. So Astros, go out there and win the series, go in 2 of 3, make it more fun for us as commentators and podcasters, and for the fans, because the fans are really pulling for you. Unlike Willard, we're not giving up.
But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be talking about, all right, they're not playing tomorrow, but hopefully we'll be talking about maybe the Mariners being behind.
It'll be a good podcast.
And the Rangers being behind or something if they're playing tomorrow. But we'll be previewing the Blue Jays series. So hopefully we'll be having some good news about the other 2 teams. But at this point of the season, you are going to be scoreboard watching. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to our podcast. We are your team every day.
Oh, and go Brewers. Beat the Rangers. They play the Rangers next. So we're Brewers fans.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Thanks for stopping by.